Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for clicking on the link wherever you came from. I was going to do a little video for you today showing you all of my new favorite products, including the ones that I got for my Ipsy bag, but unfortunately I haven't received it yet. So I'm just going to use the newer products that I do have and some of my favorites to show you this kind of, I don't know what you want to call it, dewy, natural, glowy, everyday skin look. Yeah, so if you're interested in watching any of that, then keep watching. I need to get better at these intros. Alright, so my skin is clean. I'm going to start by prepping my skin. I've recently been using the Smashbox Photo Finish Primer Water. I'm not 100% sure about it. I mean, there are other brands that I much more prefer. There's like the Urban Decay one, MAC Fix Plus, those two I like a little bit better. Mainly just because of the way that the actual sprayer works in this. So I just put it into like a smaller little spray bottle and I just use it out of that instead. So I'm just going to prep my face with that. And fan myself off. And then next I'm going to go in with sprays. I've never strayed away from this. The Clinique City Block. Ooh, that is not Clinique City Block. One of these days I will have a better camera and better editing software, and then life will be grand. So once that is on, I'm going to wear foundation today, which... who am I? No, I've been wearing foundation a little bit more lately, which is weird because it's getting warmer, so you think I wouldn't be wearing foundation as much. But I am friggin' obsessed with the L'Oreal Pro Glow. I know I'm like super late to the party on that one, but my God, it's just so good. For a drugstore foundation, it's like, whew, girl, I see what you did there. I am kind of in between shades as I normally am. So I'm mixing a little bit of the 202, which is the Creamy Natural. And I label all of them too with like, this one's a little bit too cool and a little bit too light for my skin, just so I can kind of remember if I'm like picking it up and I haven't used it in a while, then I'm like, oh yeah, I remember that this is how it is on my skin. And then I put it into another bottle, the 204, which is slightly warmer and slightly darker. So I just mix like 50-50 of those two, and then if I'm a little bit more tan, a little bit more the 204. So I'm just applying this with a Sephora Pro Flawless Airbrush Foundation Brush, number 56. I'm not gonna lie, I did not buy this brush. I got this brush as gratis when I worked at Sephora, but I really like it. Their brushes aren't cheap. I mean, they're probably around the same price point as MAC brushes. And I don't believe all of them are cruelty-free. I think this one is some natural hair. I could be wrong, but I do know that they do carry brushes that are natural hair brushes. So for those of you that are cruelty-free, I know that's not going to work for you. The other foundation brush that I used before I got this one, and it's like so old it's wearing off, is the Real Techniques, this buffing brush here. I really liked that one as well, and I do still use that one from time to time. But this is just kind of my go-to, the one I reach for the most, just because I feel like it really buffs the product into the skin really nicely. And then what I will do is I will go over top after I've blended everything out with the brush and just really make sure it's blended out with the Real Techniques sponge. I'm going to apply the Kim Kardashian concealers. I just did a post on these recently, so if you're interested in reading my thoughts on them, you can read the post. pacificbeauty.ca. Obviously, the link will be in the down bar. So originally for this video, I was going to have my Ipsy glam bag for the month of May or what month are we in? Yeah, the month of April. God, so last month's Ipsy Glam Bag, and I still have not received it because, oh, it's a long story, but my address was all like funky, and so Canada Post sent it, and then they were like, this address doesn't exist, and then they sent it back, and then I had to contact Ipsy, and they don't have like a number you can call, so you have to like DM them on Twitter, which is just a whole pain in the ass. So anyways, I was gonna have that included in here so that I could use some of my Ipsy products, but I still haven't received it. It's on the way, apparently. I mean, I don't know. I don't know, guys. I wanted to have a video full of all new products, and it's only full of some new products, so I failed as a blogger and makeshift YouTuber. Anyways, moving on. I used shade number 5 under my eyes, and then I'm just going to do a few dots of the 4, which is the pinkier one, just in the center of my forehead here to just sort of brighten a bit. Whereas with the 5, I was more wanting to sort of conceal and just color correct a bit with the darkness. This is going to be a little bit brighter. And I'm going to do a tiny bit on my chin as well. Normally, if I wasn't doing foundation, I would just really kind of go ham with the concealer and put it everywhere where I needed, like, obviously concealant and any sort of coverage, but because I have that base of the foundation on, I'm not going in as heavy with the concealer. Now, I'm going to go in with the Glossier Haloscope in Quartz, and because Samantha taught me this, not personally, I don't know her that well, I just rub it on my ring finger here, or the other thing you can do is rub it on the back of your hand and then dab it, but this way it's not going to sort of mess with the makeup that you've just put down, because that would be tragic. So I'm just putting this on the tops of my cheeks here, my cheekbones rather. And a little bit on the Cupid's bow. And just because I kind of like a little bit of forehead highlight, not too much, just a bit, and then I'm going to pat over it with my middle finger, which doesn't have anything on it, just to kind of blend it on out. So now that I have my cream highlight on, I'm going to do some powdering. So I'm going to use the KKW Brightening powder, and I'm only going to powder where I don't want to be dewy, so not that many places, but just essentially like under my eyes here, just to sort of set the concealer. And I do have a little bit of like foundation and whatnot on my eyes, just because I do get a little discolored on there as well. So I'm just going to set that with the powder. And I'm setting my nose because I know some people like a super highlighted, dewy, like highlighting the tip of your nose thing, but that's just like not for me. I feel like my nose is like quite long and pointy to begin with, so I don't really like want to draw attention to it. I just want to like, let's just pretend that's not there. And then a little bit on the chin and just kind of up the jawline here. Everything else I am leaving unpowdered, and it can get as dewy, oily, whatever as it likes to do, because it just looks nicer that way. Then I'm just gonna go over real like super quick and kind of like old school method bronzing with the Too Faced Milk Chocolate Bronzer. I'm almost out of this. So I'm gonna have to get some more. And then I'm gonna go through with the Glossier Boy Brow in brown or brunette, whatever. There's like 4 shades because one of them's clear. But yeah, I really like this. It's a good, good brow mousse, pomade, mascara, whatever you want to call it. Again, there are so many different ones like this out there at a variety of different prices. Again, Benefit has one that is probably more expensive than it needs to be, but this guy's not bad. So yeah, the nice thing about this is that I can kind of see how my brows look with a bit of product in them, and then I know sort of where I need to fill them in. So I'm just going to do that with the what do you call it? The Benefit thingamajigger. And I'm just kind of doing light little strokes here, especially kind of near the end tail of my brow here where I need to fill in a bit more. It's going to be a bit more like solid and probably not look as realistic because I literally have no hair in this like portion of my brow, but I kind of don't really mind if it looks a bit more like darker filled in near the end. But the front I like to sort of have like feathered so I don't do too much near the front. And then on days when I use the dip brow from Anastasia, I will just kind of flick in with the 7B brush from Anastasia, little like hair-like strokes. And I'll usually put some near the front as well so it looks like a lot more feathered. Yeah. So again, just kind of doing the same. I do have a bit more hair on the tail end of this brow. So this one doesn't need as much, but this guy, for whatever reason, just doesn't want to be full and bushy like I like him to be. So now that I have my brows on, which essentially is kind of like my frame, so to speak, I'm just going to dip into this NYX Perfect Filter palette here. I just like this shade right here, this like brown one. Oh my god, I fucking suck at describing things. The brown one. Warm. I don't know, terracotta. But yeah, just on a fluffy brush here, I'm just going to brush that into the crease. I'm not going to do like any sort of crazy eye look or anything, but I just like to kind of like continue with the contouring for the eyes, and just brush a bit of that in there just to sort of give my eyes a bit of depth, just because I do have, you know, some stuff going on the rest of my face, and if I leave the eyes bare, it just looks a little like stark and kind of strange. On a smaller, sort of more precise fluffy brush, I'm going to dip into the Too Faced Chocolate Bar palette, into the Semi-Sweet, which is just like slightly darker. It is a little bit more cool toned, so it's not like obviously ideal to have this like warm and cool tone kind of mix, but I don't know, it works. I make it work. I'm just sort of blending that again into the crease, but just sort of slightly lower than where I blended the first shade. And then I'm going to go over top of that with the first brush and just whatever was left over on it. And then just on a like small pencil brush here, I'm just going to blend a little bit more of that second cooler brown under the eye. and then I'm just gonna kind of go back over with the larger brush to sort of blend that out. I'm literally just going back and forth between two different shades of brown, one lighter and one darker, in the crease on my eye and underneath. And then once that sort of looks like, I don't know, how I like it to look, which is essentially just like a little bit of brown on the top and a little bit of brown on the bottom, I'm just taking a NYX slide on, glide on, stay on, and the rest is worn off on pencil in, again, some form of brown. It's a dark brown, but I'm gonna tight line, which is essentially your waterline under your top lashes. And then very, very carefully, I'm just gonna dot a little bit of that on my top lash line, like the tiniest amount, and then just blend that out looking down. Or just closing my eyes and kind of just throwing caution to the wind. Just so I have a little bit of like definition on the outer corner, but it's not like a harsh eyeliner line. And again, I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Okay, so that is done. You don't have to do the eyes. I mean, you don't have to do any of this really, but you're watching the video, so I'm assuming you want to know. And then I'm just going to, actually, I'm going to do my lower mascara first, because then I don't get the mascara from my top lashes transferring onto my eyelid. Little trick. You're welcome. So yeah, now I've got some mascara on and I don't look so like not put together. But I am going to throw a teensy bit of blush on. So I'm using the Milani blush in Luminoso. This is not the one that everyone talks about though, because they reformulated it and I never got my hands on it before they did. So it doesn't even look like the original one. But it's a corally blush and it's got a bit of luminescence to it, or like sheen, which is kind of nice. And I'm just using it on this. Again, I don't even know. Don't listen to me with the brushes. They don't have names. It looks like this. It's angled. It's kind of fluffy. I think it's a Sigma brush. And just on the apples on my cheeks, so that it kind of, yeah, maybe. And then last but not least, I'm going to spray my little Real Techniques, I think it's like a contouring brush. To be honest, I do not use it for contouring. I'm going to dip it in some champagne pop, which is shattered and crumbled, because God hates me. No, seriously, I've bought 2 of these and they've all broken. I think all Becca highlights just like, I don't know. I just don't think they're meant to be, I don't know, solid. They always break. They all do. Everyone I know who's ever purchased a Becca highlight says it shatters. Which is, you know, nice because they're so finely milled. I'm just going to put some on the inner corners of my eye as well. And they're great, but like, goddamn, they just, I have never gone through a whole one without it like just absolutely shattering into a billion, jillion, quadrillion little pieces. But yeah, that's it. That's all she wrote. That's a lie. I'm going to throw on some lipstick. Well, I've got some lipstick on right now. I just put on some Creme Cup from MAC. And I'm putting some Sam Ravindall lipstick over top. I feel like I should title this video doing all the things that Sam taught me, because it's really, I'm also going to line my lips, I should tell you, with the NYX Nude Lip Liner. I also wrote about this in a post on my top 5 favorite lip products. Yeah, I've used so many little tips and tricks that Sam has taught me. So, thank you, Sam, if you ever see this. Anywho, this is it, finally. Thanks for watching. I will see you next time.